अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्.
This is an outstanding verse. It's a highly inspiring verse. It's one of the most important verses and quoted extensively by almost every speaker on the subject. As it happens, it is almost the center of the Gita. The Gita consists of 701 shlokas, and this is the 359th shloka, bang in the middle of it. The other important verse is verse 66 of chapter 18. We'll deal with it when we get there. So what is he saying here? He says, I bestow tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. I bestow yoga, spiritual enlightenment, and kshema, material success, to those persons who worship me with no other thought. Ananya chintan. To those always seeking union. So, the interesting thing, first thing that you notice is, he says, I will give not just spiritual enlightenment, but I will also give material success. Material prosperity, the world will come to you as a byproduct of your seeking the transcendental. Christ says exactly the same thing. Seek the kingdom of heaven and all else will be added unto you. Mahatma Gandhi said a similar thing. He says, find purpose, the means will follow. And here we are looking on running after the means, there is no purpose. How will you get anything? So therefore, when you seek the spiritual, the material comes as a byproduct and happiness comes. So the three things that we are all seeking is, number one, siddhim, material prosperity. Number two, sukham, happiness in the world. And finite happiness we're not content with because we're constantly looking for more and more and more. So what are we looking for? Infinite happiness. Paramgatim, that supreme goal. All three you'll get if you follow the spiritual path. If you don't, if you run after material success only, you will get neither, you won't get any of the three. You won't even get success, leave alone anything else. For which, what is required? The formula for success is, number one, fix a goal, an ideal that is beyond your selfish, self-centered interests. Set the goal. What is it that I'm living for? What is it that I'm working for? What is it that I want to achieve before I drop dead? And then the direction is fixed. After that, you must maintain the thought of that goal at all times. No other thinking. No other thinking doesn't mean that you become a workaholic. It means the focus has to be there. So whether it's Tiger Woods or Sachin Tendulkar or a businessman or whatever it be, that focus must be there. And then follows the effort, constant striving to get there. Once you do that, then he says, I will give, vahami aham. What will I give? Yoga and kshema. There are different ways of interpreting this. Yoga, one way is, yoga is spiritual growth, kshema is material prosperity, success. The other thing is, yoga is acquisition, kshema is preservation. The third is, yoga is wealth, kshema is happiness. Whichever way you look at it, he says, I will give you this. For which, what do you need to do? Fix a goal, think incessantly of it, and act towards achieving that goal. Then he says, I will give it. And then you wonder, he says, I am doing all the hard work, and he sits there and says, I will give. But it fits in because you do all of this. Fix the goal of realization, ananya chintan, invest all your thoughts in the achievement of that goal and work towards getting there. That constant effort must be there in such a way that if you do this, then you don't get distracted. Anything that comes and tempts you, anything that comes in the way of your achieving the goal, you then have this clarity of thinking, you have the power of the intellect to say no to it. That's how you achieve the goal. If you do this, then you reach that last stage where you're stuck with only one thought, the thought of realization. That last thought, human effort can get you only to that last thought. That last thought goes by itself. That is why he says, Vahami aham, I will give. The last thought is so fine, so subtle that it dissolves by itself. So you can only put an effort to get to that single pointed pursuit of realization. And that last bit of thought, that last bit of finitude goes by itself. The key words here are paryupasate. Paryupasate is a superlative of upasate, which means worship. And ananya chintan, no other thinking. So the mind flows towards it, it worships the goal. The mind loves it, surrenders to it, is devoted to it. And the intellect maintains this consistent focus on the goal. You take a look at anybody who has achieved outstanding results, the two go together. I don't know how many of you have read an article about Ramanujam, the great mathematician. He was born in a poor family, but his focus on maths was so intense that in his academic, he was brilliant. But he never passed college, graduation, because he could not think of any subject other than maths. And he failed in other subjects. So he couldn't pass, he couldn't graduate. He couldn't hang on to a job because his mind was on maths all the time. He couldn't come down to lesser things. So what he did was, and constantly his mind was coming up with all kinds of theorems, all kinds of theories, brilliant mathematical concepts that till this day they haven't been able to understand, leave alone anything else. And eventually he got through to, he kept writing letters to people in Cambridge and Oxford and brilliant mathematicians all over the world. Finally, one man in Cambridge, when he got the letter, he thought, first he looked at it and he thought, this must be some mad man. And he kept it aside. The next day, he looked at it and then he realized, oh my God, this fellow is brilliant. And so he called him. When he called him, his mother said, in those days they had this strange concept that if you're a Brahmin, you cross the seas, you go abroad, and you're thrown out of your caste. So the mother hesitated. Eventually the mother let him go. And this Englishman was his guide, and he was supposedly learning from him. And the guide says, the roles were totally reversed. He was my guru and I was the student. But what is interesting is that they said the difference between the two is that fellow, the guide, the Englishman, was an atheist. Ramanujam was deeply spiritual. He worshipped mathematics. Maths was his deity. If you don't have this combination of a worshipful attitude and intellectual focus, you can't achieve greatness. You can't achieve greatness in the world, and you certainly can't achieve realization. So the two key words here are paryupasate, worship, and ananya chintan. We have neither. We don't have this sanctity about anything that we're doing, and focus, though, of course not. The slightest thing is enough to distract us and take us away from our goal. There is no goal fixation to begin with. So how can you achieve anything? So whether you want to achieve greatness in the world, success in the world, or you want to evolve spiritually, you're sincere and genuine about it, you've got to develop these two qualities. The mind must have a worshipful attitude, and that is why we say, you go to a church, you go to a mosque, you will not find a single cell phone ring. It's not, why we say this? Every day they're announcing. Why? Not because we get disturbed by it. And you certainly should not get disturbed by it. But it is an indication of the importance you give to it. If you don't have a worshipful attitude towards what you have committed yourself to, in this busy schedule in Mumbai city, you have set aside at least 3 hours if you calculate commuting. You must have respect for yourself, leave alone anybody else. That devotion, that dedication, that worshipful attitude, if you cultivate, then you achieve greatness. Take a look at people who have achieved greatness against the greatest of odds. Bhimsen Joshi is a world-renowned classical musician. You know how he started? When he told his father he wanted to learn classical music, the father threw him out of the house. Because at that time it was not considered a dignified career to take. And somehow or the other he found his way to Calcutta, where there was a great musician. And he had no resources at his command to go and say, okay, I'll learn from you. So he worked as a servant, washing dishes, so that he could learn. So whenever the master sang, practiced, taught, he picked it up. And one day, while doing his chores, he sang. And the master heard him and said, what on earth are you doing washing dishes? You should be learning music. That kind of worshipful attitude, if you have, you can achieve the world. The world will be at your feet. But here we say, this focus is not there, and particularly in big cities. You take a look at the number of students from Mumbai city that get into IIT, IIM. The number of students from Mumbai, which is supposed to be the mecca of cricket in India, who get into the cricket team. Not there. Whereas earlier it was almost entirely Mumbai. Why is it so? It's not that our children are not as intelligent. It's just sheer lack of effort. And why is there this lack of effort? Because too many distractions. That is why it's the children from small towns that are coming up now. Because they're not so distracted. They're more focused. So this is what is required of us. Today we are at a stage where we can take on the world. The whole world is sitting there waiting for India to arise and shine. And here we are quarreling with each other over silly things. Lack of focus, lack of worshipful attitude. So this is very, very important. Next verse.